Shiloh Season, Chapter 9. It's when I remember I last saw Becky, sitting up on the path in the far meadow, that my legs like to give out. "Becky," I yell. Dad comes to the screen. "What's the matter, Marty?" "We can't find Becky," I say. "We're playing hide and seek, and I can't find her." He comes out on the porch. Then Ma. "What?" says Ma. Her face looks all pulled around the edges. I tell it again. "Where did you last see her?" asked Ma, hurrying down the steps. "Up on the path." I point to the steep dirt trail that leads to the woods in the far meadow. I told her not to go up there, and she sat down. Then Dare Lynn hurt her toe, and I don't remember if I saw Becky after that. Ma's running around, heading for the path. The sky's got that in-between look. It's day, it isn't evening. Everything looks in sharp focus, but you know it's not for long. "Where's Shiloh?" Ma calls over her shoulder. "If Becky wandered off, how come he didn't go with her?" Shiloh is stretched out on the ground between the house and the shed, just enjoying himself. "Why isn't he with her?" Ma cries again, and she looks with such anger at my dog it scares me. "What good is he if he can't protect Becky?" "Ma," I say. And then she turns to me. "You should have watched her." "Get the flashlight, son," says Dad. "Dare Lynn, you go in the house in case she shows up here. Don't let her wander off again." I tear into the house and grab the flashlight from off the top of the refrigerator, then run back. Shiloh sees all the excitement now, and he's up on his feet, ready to join in. I feel empty and rattly, like all my ribs are knocking together. How much should you expect from a dog, after all? How does he know that Becky's supposed to... Where's Becky supposed to go, and where she isn't? He's only been with us a month or so. "Becky!" yells Ma into the bushes on the either side of her, and I follow her up the hill. "Becky!" yells Dad. "Where are you? Yell so we can hear you." Somewhere far off I hear a gun again. At least I think it's a gun. Could have been a firecracker, I suppose. It's hard to tell. I look at Dad, though, and he's heard it, too. It's a gun. I can tell by his face. We get to the fork in the path. Go left, you end up in the woods up near where I hid Shiloh, where I built his pen. Go right, and you'll come to the meadow, where I run him sometimes. Nobody could see us from below. "Marty," says Dad, "you just sit right there and keep your eye on the yard. What I don't want to happen is for Becky to wander back home, think we're all gone, and go off again." Oh, okay," I say, and hand over the flashlight to him. He heads for the woods. Ma takes them to the meadow, and I sit down on the big flat rock at the fork where David and I used to play spaceship sometimes. I don't sit down so much as I sink. I just got a thought so terrible that it makes my knees give out in earnest. What if Judd Travers is up here hunting deer with a light? Some hunters do it that way, which is the lowest way you can hunt a deer. Stun it with a powerful light, and when it stops dead, still in front of you, shoot it with a rifle. But that's not the terrible thought. That's just for starters. What if, because I didn't report Judd to the game warden when he killed a doe out of season, he feels he can get away with it again? If I'd have reported him, maybe they would have taken away his license or something. But because I wanted Shiloh so bad, I didn't say nothing. And maybe saying nothing is why Becky's missing now. Maybe one of those stray bullets found her, and I traded Becky for Shiloh. I bend over, hugging my stomach like I got belly cramps. So scared my arms are shaking. How can you think you're doing the right thing, and maybe it's not right at all? Down below in the yard, I can see Shiloh standing up, looking around. I'd thought he'd follow us up here. Been wanting to so bad to come. Guess when you scold a dog 4 times in one day, he learns a little something. But why couldn't he have learned to stick with Becky? Why didn't he just naturally know that Becky, being the smallest, needed him most? "Becky! Becky!" I can hear my ma yell. There's no answer. It's going to get dark right soon now. It's already black in the sky, in the trees. I can see the spot of yellow from Dad's flashlight from time to time, then it disappears. 10 minutes go by, which is worse, I'm thinking, sitting here waiting for Becky or lying in the weeds behind David Howard's when Judd was yelling, "Who's there?" and was starting over with his gun to find us. I think I'd choose to be back there and take my chances at Judd's. At least what was happening, or going to happen, would take place before my eyes. Here I don't know. All I can do is sit. Dad's coming back through the trees now. Then I hear Ma's footsteps not far behind. "I'm calling the sheriff. Ask for a search party," Dad says, and I hear a tremble in his voice. Ma starts to cry. We made our way back down the steep path, and Dad's talking out loud, praying, I guess. Closest he comes to prayer. I wish to God I hadn't riled Judd. Wish to God I'd handled that better. I can see right off I'm not the only one feeling responsible. Guess I'd thought that when you get to be 38 like Dad, you don't have questions. You just know. Now I see the other side of things. Ray, Ma sobs, her nose all clogged up. You don't think Judd would come through those woods and just take Becky, do you? No, not even drunk. I don't think so. Dad puts his arm around Ma to steady her, but his voice gives him away. Needs a little steadying himself. Shiloh's standing down at the bottom of the path waiting for us, tail wagging, tongue hanging out, glad to see us coming back. But Dad's not glad to see him. In fact, seems to me that Dad's right foot sort of reaches out and gives that dog a push. Not blaming Shiloh exactly, but not feeling so kindly towards him neither. Darylyn's standing at the screen door bawling, 'cause she don't like being left home at the house. Left in the house by herself at night, and nobody's paying her much mind. Dad steps up on the porch and goes straight for the telephone. Ma's telling Darylyn to hush. I go to the porch and wait for Shiloh to follow us in, the way he does when we're all on the porch in the evening, but he just trots back down to the steps, goes over to the shed, and stands there wagging his tail. And suddenly my heart starts to beat faster. I leap off that porch, not even bothering with the steps, and open the door of the tool shed a little wider. There's Becky, sprawled out on the dirt floor, head on a bag of chicken feed, her lips letting out like fluttering sounds while she sleeps. I'm so happy I shout. Then I hug Shiloh and get the wettest kiss this side of Mississippi. I shout once more, and the shout don't even wake Becky up. Her body jolts for a second and then drops right back into sleep. But now Ma's coming out of the house, and then Darylyn and Dad. I found her, I yelled. Shiloh was looking out for her all the time, led me straight over to the shed. Everybody comes running, and I can't tell who's hugging who. Ma's hugging Becky, Dad's hugging Ma, Darylyn's hugging Shiloh, but I'm not hugging Darylyn. Not that far gone. I guess I'm hugging Shiloh, too. Dad picks up Becky in his arms and carries her into the house, and she don't even open her eyes. Bet you could operate on her brain, and she wouldn't even feel it. Ma takes off Becky's shoes and lays her down on her bed, clothes and all, and then the only thing left to do is to have some ice cream. Dad calls the sheriff again and tells him the search is off, and Ma's dishing up some big helpings of fudge ripple. Shiloh gets the first dish. Would have saved us a lot of grief and worry if that dog could talk, says Dad. He's smiling now. He did talk, but we didn't ask the right questions, I say. He knew Becky was in that shed the whole time. She must have gone in there to hide and fell asleep. He was watching over her, not making any fuss. It was when we all went in the house without her that he figured he ought to let us know. Well, if I don't see Judd before next weekend, I'm going over there and settle this whole thing peaceably. Dad says, can't go on worrying this way every time a gun or firecracker goes off. I sleep real good that night.